Hey. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, yo, it's the end of 2020, let's go. Hey, I love those candy canes, can I get some?
Hi guys, this is so awkward. Welcome back to another episode of Pick Your Brain Podcast, a platform to showcase creatives, social issues, mental health, and community empowerment. I'm Simone.
It's your boy Kyle, DJ Asthmatc.
It's Mike D, what's good?
What up? It's your boy MC Churro, aka Jonathan Mendoza. What it is.
Hey.
And for this episode, we're going to be covering a 2020 recap. Let's go.
Bam, 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 bam.
But it was also... could have been a bad year too for some of us, you know, but it depends on it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, we
2020 was a trip.
for sure. I think we had our challenges and we had our victories.
Exactly.
There we go, Mike. There
You
we
know
go.
what I mean?
13. Let's
You know
go.
what I mean?
Let's go, baby.
But I wanted to ask Simone real quick. How did it feel like introducing the podcast remotely?
Through Zoom. Huh?
How did it feel like introducing the introduction, like doing it remotely?
It was weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, because the environment is just like me in like the dining room. Hi guys, welcome back. Like, you know.
By the way, this
Now
podcast.
you know my world. No,
Welcome to my world, he said. By the way, this podcast will not have any visual. It's all audio, and a couple of our members are online, and it's just me and Kyle in person. So yeah, just that's why I asked the question. But
Yeah.
Your.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about how it was before COVID.
Let's bring it to what were your guys' like plans for the
Yeah.
new year for 2020, like your New Year's like
my
resolutions and
gosh.
stuff. What did you guys want to happen this year? You know,
2020. Wait, what was a resolution in terms
Your New Year's
of
resolutions.
2019 coming into 2020 and how that played out, and then of course what have come to change, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my New Year's resolution 2019 coming to 2020, it was to find love. That was my thing.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
I love.
Yeah,
That's
Man,
nice.
a whole
The
lot
way you
better.
said
Yeah.
it, you paused. You were like, to find love.
Yo,
That was my
can we
New
put,
Year's
a heart
resolution,
in
man.
there somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Just put a heart in there.
You know,
just
put
get
a
our
heart in
promo
there.
for the episode.
God.
finding Mike's love. Finding Mike's love 2020.
All right, that's it. That's going to be the name of this episode. Finding Mike's love. Let's go. He's single, ready to mingle.
But the beauty is that I found love for myself. You know
There
what I
we go.
mean? You know
Put that shit
what I
on a
mean?
Disney movie.
Let's
Fucking
go. Let's go. How about y'all?
For me, it was to, in essence, become a really like popular DJ in the Bay and just getting gigs and holding down like these residencies. Because I was holding out residencies in Arena, Dave and Buster's, Labyrinth, and I was really coming up.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yes.
What do you mean by residencies?
Oh, okay. By residencies, it means like every Thursday or every couple times in a month, I would be at Arena SF, whether it's twice or three times. Residencies, so like a shift basically.
That's
for
like
work.
a gig.
So like a
Yeah,
gig.
so like it's set. Like I'm one of the main DJs there, no matter what.
It's a set gig.
Yeah, until they like kick me out or whatever.
So they don't like you anymore.
Well, because COVID happened actually, so
Are you sure it's COVID?
it's COVID.
Oh, okay. I just was unfamiliar with the lingo, so I just wanted to know what you were talking about. I'm like, damn, you get new places now, bro? Like, you like
Nah,
Residency.
buying
no
houses
property
here,
for
bro, in
me.
the Bay?
I'm
Damn, bro.
lucky.
Hey, but Jonathan, that's a beautiful thing. You know, if there's a thing that we don't understand, we should always ask, and we should not assume. So I appreciate you putting that out like that. Yeah. Make sure anytime that we are having a conversation and if there's something that we don't understand, please ask. That's what's up.
Yes.
All right, so let me explain to y'all what hegemony is. Let's talk about,
What's a Jeremy? How about you,
Hermione
Churro?
Granger?
Go ahead, Simone. Tell them what's up.
Honestly, this year has been super long. I don't even remember what I wanted for this year. I think for this year I just wanted to I don't know, just have fun.
Nice. And are you having fun right now?
What form?
Right now? Huh?
What form of fun? Like, what kind of fun? Is it just a general fun? Is there a specific things you do that's fun? What is that? What does that mean?
I think I just wanted to live life day to day, take things day by day, not take things too seriously.
Okay.
Did you accomplish that?
Bruh.
I would say in a sense, yeah, but then you can't have that because I turned 21 this year. So you can't really have fun when you're in COVID.
Oh, we would have been all to the club. Set out to the club. Hey,
Yeah.
It would have been all crazy.
Oh, bro, I would have taken hella shots with you, fam. I'd just been like, yo, Simone, 21, let's go. 21 shots.
21
Let's get it.
shots.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
21
God.
gun salute.
So yeah, I mean, I can't really pinpoint any specific things I wanted to really. I think this year, I didn't really have any New Year's resolutions. So yeah.
Okay. How about you, Jonathan?
So my plan for this new year is to pass a bipartisan bill where we would provide some. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that you, Obama?
That is Obama.
Is that you, Obama?
We need him back. I hate this Cheeto. All right, we just lost 100 followers. Let's go. Anyways, I think for me, going into 2020, one of the things I wanted to do was obviously graduate. That ended up not happening due to a myriad of factors. It kind of worked out for me at the end of the day, but so one thing was graduate. Another thing was just getting another job. Aside moving on from my former job, just trying to stack it up, you know what I'm saying, just bills, not you owe something, but stack up
dollars,
money, you know what I'm saying. And I think kind of similar to Simone, right? I was just trying to enjoy life because I was just tired and annoyed of having to commute to school. Oh my God, 40 miles go and then 40 miles back and do it almost every day or every other day. And so I was just annoyed and tired. And I was like, dude, once I graduate, I'm going to work a lot of hours, make a lot of money, and then just enjoy life. One other plan I had too was I had an idea of throwing a big ass party.
Oh yeah, at the clubhouse.
For my birthday this year. I don't know. I was thinking big, Kyle.
Bigger than the clubhouse? Damn.
I mean, I thought about having a jump house too, bruh. I wanted to get a big jump house too, bruh.
Bro, we could have done
an
that.
Airbnb type
Could have
party.
done that.
What's that huge party? Project X type party.
Project Churro or Project Churro.
I don't know about that, but I was I wanted to throw a big party, and I just wanted to sort of one, celebrate my Jordan year, but at the second time, I just wanted to unwind from just all the fucking stress and all I've had to
just let loose.
Just trying to get my fucking bachelor's,
and black out.
That's honestly on my. Oh, actually, I don't want to put it that way. But, I was gonna say something, but never mind. But I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. If things are able to go back to a sense of normalcy, 2021. Hopefully, black out for once.
Hey, fuck it, right? Fuck it.
Right.
I've never blacked out.
I have no choice this year. I have to redeem myself.
2022.
Because I already threw up. this week.
What?
Wow.
Because we were playing a game. My family was playing a game, and then we had to take shots, and we were switching through shots, and I took a shot of this tequila, and then I tried to chase it because I didn't have soda. I only had my mixed drink. I tried to chase it with a cracker and this garlic thing. And it just tasted gross, and then I ended up throwing up.
Ew, garlic with tequila? What the fuck?
I know, because I was just trying because I like to, yeah.
Oh my
Wait.
gosh.
You need a chaser?
Hey,
Yeah.
relax, bro. Chases are sometimes needed, my friend.
Hey man, I'm just saying, bro. I follow the Weeknd's philosophy. I don't drink my liquor with no chaser. That money is the only thing I'm chasing.
Sorry, bro. This isn't the No Chaser podcast by Timothy Delgado.
All right.
We need chasers.
It was nice seeing y'all. See y'all next week. No.
So moving forward, we had these goals set, right? And then COVID
Mike, did
hit.
you find love? Just kidding.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? Let's answer that question.
I think.
Yeah, did you ever find
Finish
love?
finish your point. Finish your point first. I want to see where that was going.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
I think that's what he was like trying to say. Like, oh, did we accomplish our goals that we like wanted?
Oh, we didn't answer that question. Okay,
Yeah.
for sure. Go
I think
ahead.
on my part, in terms of my own goal for the beginning of the year, my New Year's resolution to find love, I accomplished it.
Oh,
And
Oh yeah, with yourself, huh?
you know me, know me, know me,
Stop
know me, know me.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, I think COVID hits. I had again quarantine, not knowing how to be myself. Had to learn a lot in terms of my own struggle and my own things that I could work on in itself. And the more you struggle, the more you learn about yourself and what is it needed to what you need to do to strengthen, in essence. And it's relative to
Yeah.
your, in essence, in terms of your objective and whatever
Yeah.
that objective is.
Yeah.
The things that you need to work on is gonna be in line with that. And so I think that's one of the ways that I was able to like get to know myself more, what I
Yeah.
need to work on. I mean, it's like when you fall in love with someone, is when you get to know them, in essence, right? The more you get to know them,
Yeah.
the more you see the great qualities of the specific individual, and that's where you fall in love with them. And I was able to do that in the
Yeah.
sense of learn about myself, my weaknesses, what I struggle with, and my strengths. And then from
Yeah.
that point, I was able and in essence, I found love for myself, and I think I found
Yeah.
love also in terms of and so
In terms of
Are we gonna get Mike
terms
to
of what?
cry?
you know,
what? I didn't get you there.
like having another person.
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Like a friend
a significant
or
other.
a
No,
girlfriend.
Kyle, not a friend.
A girlfriend.
let's,
a girlfriend?
let's just say that like
Entanglement.
that's the word. Let's just
No,
let's
no.
Why did you say yeah? He said that's the word.
Look, fam, it works on the red table talk, but not here, fam.
And let's just say, I'm happy in terms of how and what I'm relating to, in terms of another person, another individual that I could respect, and I enjoy their company and they enjoy mine, and we able to enjoy each other just as is. And I think there's beauty in that in essence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, okay, I just remembered what happened in the beginning of the year. Cause like, I think going into the year, I was like in a little relationship or whatever. But
I
like,
swear to God, I was gonna say if you said entanglement, I swear to God.
Oh, she
I
should have
might
said
say
it.
Okay.
But I was like in a relationship and I was like, I don't know. It didn't work out, right? And I was distraught for a moment in time. But like I kind of realized because I had realized I was like, like I can't. I have so much time. I'm only 21. Why would I want to spend my time with someone who's like not even like gonna? I could treat myself better than this person treats me. So why do I need this person in my life? You know what I'm saying? And I think through that, like I found out like. I was like, I just need to just do my thing and just like not, because like I would get distracted by people. I would let people distract me. I'm like, oh, like maybe they're the one, but nah.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing. Like further along this year, I was like, nope, I'm just gonna be myself, do me, because like I have time, so much time, and so much things to do myself. Like I'm not trying to, what's this called? I'm not trying to lose focus with what I want to do and like have an external force like in my ear saying like, oh, I don't know if you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of want to make decisions on my own without having to think about somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite
So.
distraction right now?
Favorite what?
Favorite distraction?
Favorite distraction?
Yeah,
I mean, I read a lot.
Okay.
I read a lot.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, damn, I'm surprised she didn't bring up the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Hey, what up? Hey,
She's just on
I
there.
watch a lot of shows. They're not really distractions. They're more what I like to do.
exactly.
Yeah. I don't really, that's the thing. Like a relationship to me, in my world, a relationship is a distraction. So I have to cut out all the distractions in order to like stay on path. And that's the only distraction that I would think is a distraction for me.
Well, I
You
think
know?
if you look at a relationship as a distraction, definitely that's not something you want to keep. You know, in essence, relationship
exactly.
should not take away, but or should add to your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In essence,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah,
That's why I'm not in one.
Yeah.
peace. Period.
Because I haven't met someone that has added to my life yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I broke up with flour tortillas, bro. I can't have that distraction anymore.
Flour tortillas.
I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
is there a
We're going
specific?
corn only. Corn only.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still on flour tortillas.
So let's do this. So when COVID hit, like, how did y'all like really feel about that, and where were you with everything?
I was doing the podcast. Sorry. um, when COVID hit, I was still in Sacramento. I think COVID around November-ish, because I would go home a lot during this time. And then I think that's when like COVID was like happening. And at first, I didn't really think it was like a huge deal. I was like, oh, it's still over there, it's gonna pass, whatever. And then when everyone started like reacting like crazy, like, people going to the stores and buying so much toilet paper, I was just kind of like, what the heck? Like, what is happening? It was like really like unexpected, but I think it was good for me. Like in my life, like COVID, the way my life was at, I think COVID was really good for me.
Yeah. I think for me, I got really scared and anxious when COVID hit, and it was kind of weird because before COVID, I was really getting my mental health and physical health and everything better, and I was really coming up with things, right? Like we even before COVID, I hosted a Pray for Ta'al benefit show with Mike and Pawis, right?
Which was dope.
It was super dope, and that was like one of the very last gigs like we had before, and it was a really good way to kind of kick off things in 2020, And I was kind of I guess you could say I'm the type to kind of feed off of people's energies. So like being away from the gigs, being away from personal training, being away from all that stuff kind of like hit me really hard because I wasn't used to that, like being alone. So what COVID did was really force me to look into myself and face all my demons that I had, essentially. And it was just crazy. Like I couldn't really believe it. Like after like that first month was just so hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Especially when like quarantine hit, when we were all hit with like, all right, y'all can't go anywhere. It was just kind of like, what do you mean I can't go anywhere?
Yeah.
I think for me, COVID hits. Well, actually, I think when did the quarantine starts?
March 14th.
March.
Oh, you remember the date?
Yeah, around March, right? So actually, I was around March, April, May. Then in May, I was let go. I was working 9 to 5, and UGAT as a brand was just like a side hustle. It was a side thing, and basically, I was let go from work because of COVID-19, and they had to let folks go. So I was the one that got let go. But at the same time, again, we talked about like one door closing and another one opening up. It gave me more time to actually work on the brand itself. And I was able to give it more time in terms of whether it's engagement, in terms of social media, whether it's through IG, be able to promote, be able to create new designs. And I think from that point, at the end of May, and then starting June, July until now, it's like, I think I've been blessed in essence to like be able to work on the brand in itself. Not to say that it's because of COVID, because COVID is really a devastating thing in terms of people's lives. But in essence, it's just, another struggle and I had to find a way, to figure out. And it gave me an opportunity to really like work on, whether it's with how I talked about, work on myself, as a human being, and also work on the brand itself in terms of being able to provide for myself and my family. And so that's the thing of what has came out of it. And so yeah. But at the same time, in terms of like U.S. society, it really COVID-19 really exposed a lot of fucked up things in American society. How crazy in terms of like health insurance, and how people don't care, like the 1%, and the richest motherfuckers don't care about the people, and the fact that the richest got more richer, and it exposed in terms of this year, like how the Black Lives Matter, like how the 1% and the people, like like who supports it and who's for it, and also like what do you call it, in terms of like the assistance, right? This economic plans to like revive the economy. We saw the contradiction that the government gave trillions and trillions of money to the corporations, while we get $1,200 at the beginning, and now they're arguing if we should get like $600 or whatever have you, while they give away trillions and trillions of dollars to like corporations. And this is the thing that the COVID-19, in essence, the pandemic, have exposed in terms of the American society. And this is something that as an organizer that we've known, but I think it helps out for other folks, for the general population, to actually see the contradiction. And so that's one of the things that COVID-19 and this pandemic has really, like showed and exposed to me, for me. You know what I mean?
How about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I think, oh my God. Ooh. I think on a personal level, obviously this is not to downplay the pandemic, because it is definitely has been a catastrophic world disaster, right? Because there's the disaster that it's caused here in the US. And although there's definitely a lot of people struggling in the US, it is not compared to nothing compared to like if you're in another country, underdeveloped country. So it's just sort of like, regardless, like it's just been a global disaster, right? And in the US, there's a little bit more of like, I guess, like cushion in a sense compared to like if you're somewhere else in the world. But on a personal level, it's definitely been a blessing in the wound, because it's forced me to think about certain things and really reflect upon myself and make about changes. But I think, going off what you were saying, Mike, it's just on an economic level, right? Having a critique of the United States, it's just like, supposedly we were the most wealthy and most powerful nation in the world, and COVID just exposed all the faults and all the liabilities that this country has had for decades, and even century, just economic inequality, just oppression, and just realizing like, oh, okay, like it's the same narrative, right? Where it's just sort of like the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poor, because a lot of these multi-billion-dollar companies have made a shit ton of profits during this time, and yet you have so many people who are struggling, losing their homes, losing their jobs, struggling to find food to put on their table. And it's just sort of like, and these motherfuckers keep getting richer. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, if you claim you're the most powerful or most developed or most successful nation in the country, tell me when you don't have so many people fucking struggling out here. Don't fucking tell me how much money this country can make, because the inequality is just fucking insane. All right. So it's just like, it really exposed a lot of it. And I think for a lot of people, right, because in my field of studies, this is something that I study. So this is something that I'm more well versed. But for the general public, it's just like, it really put things into perspective and made people really focus and dial in on like, this is the reality of the United States, fam. Like, if you haven't known this for the longest time, now it's your time to fucking know. And now you can't just idly sit by and ignore this sort of shit, because it's a fucking reality here, And so it's just like, it really exposed the United States to a lot of people. And it just shows, as I said, just the ailments of capitalism. How is it that in a disaster, some companies have made shit ton more profits during this time. It's just absurd. So
Yeah.
I think for me, like that's just something that really fired me up. And I think another thing too, right? If we're talking about the PPP loans, the loans that were supposed to go to small businesses, and I, I, I'm already getting into this, but I don't care. I'm just gonna go. A lot of Republicans say that they care about small businesses and that we should help out small businesses. Yeah, when you look at the PPP program, how is it that what's that one fucking burger place in Palo Alto? Fucking Shake Shack. How is it that Shake Shack and Kim Kardashian and Kanye West got PPP loans, but you have small business owners struggling, having to close, their restaurants closing? I think I saw an article the other week. One of the most longest running, I think it was an Asian restaurant. It's been open for like 100 years. It's been forced to close because it's just the economic devastation is just really, it's just bad. And so I'm just like, you guys helped draft this bill, and yet it did nothing of what your aims were. But you just gave a bunch of bailouts to all these corporations. So it's just sort of like, I don't know how you really go to sleep at night when you claim this narrative, but you're so hypocritical and turn the other cheek. So
Yeah.
that's on a political critique.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of like the U.S. politics, like really it comes on both sides. They all are corporations. You know what I mean? One tries to be more socially,
Yeah.
blah, 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 but all of them are like pro corporation because all of the lobbying happens and they get money to throw billions of dollars to these companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
And I think like touching on that too, right? Because I also don't want listeners to think that there's a specific bias, right? Even though I have left-leaning views, that's not to say that the Democratic Party is also innocent too, because they've also had their faults too. So I don't want to be held that against me and just sort of, oh, it's just a Democrat. And it's like, no, dude,
Yeah.
sure.
not a registered Democrat, bro.
But,
have faults at both sides. You know what I'm saying?
It really showed the importance in terms of what it means to do community organizing
Yeah.
on a local level, build political power, and to be able to educate our community, to be able to like take it to the streets in terms of the demands of the people, whether it's like rent increase or, whether it's like cancellation of rent, whether it's just like higher wages or whatever it is that the day-to-day thing that we need as a community to survive. And so it really showed the importance of we need to organize. And so, that's one aspect of like, my thing to get better and to find love for myself. It's in essence to be the best that I can be so I can put my time in terms of doing the work in our community. You know what I mean? So what does it mean to actually do the work in the community, be able to educate folks in terms of what are the different issues happening here in the U.S. and across the world, in essence, you know what I mean? So, we're talking about like COVID-19 and the impact of it. Like these are the things that are, that's happening. So, yeah.
No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets to fund the police. Hey. No justice, no peace. Hey, so I mean, for myself too, I'd like to add, I think the biggest thing I've lost these past couple of years before 2020 was my voice. So I kind of like fell off in this space where I kept quiet, didn't want to speak about the issues that I was really passionate about. And y'all know, like you mentioned, the Black Lives Matter movement, that was like such a huge push on the political climate in America. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That crooked cop and those 3 other cops stood by and watched George Floyd die. And people sat at home and they had to watch that happen. And it's crazy because, people of color have been fighting this for so long. And it took a pandemic for a lot of people to kind of realize that with that sense. But it was good because what came out of that was one of the biggest movements in history in terms of civil rights. So many countries protested for Black Americans and the oppression that they face, and also brown people as well too, Yeah. And in that case, like I took the chance to basically reactivate the NAACP Youth Chapter in San Jose and work with the adult branch. Jonathan works with us there too. And it was dope to kind of get everything organizing again and see all this youth come by to organize and mobilize, like what you said, to really push things. because that's what like people really needed, you know. And it was just amazing to see people come together as one to fight for one cause, and to push forward. And I do hope, you know, with Kamala and Biden becoming president, that doesn't change anything. You know, people still got to rise up and keep mobilizing, which, you know, I really empower listeners to do. You know, join an organization and do what you can. Remember, this is what Mike always tells me too. Organizing is to the best of your capacity. If you can't do it right now, later on when you're free, do the work. It's whatever you can organize, whether it's feeding the homeless once a week or organizing a protest, anything. It's to the best of your capacity. You can always make time no matter what.
Yeah, and
I think too.
Oh, go ahead.
What's this called? You could go first. I'll go after.
You let Simone know. Simone go.
No, because I was gonna backtrack
Okay.
Oh.
on something. So if you're gonna.
So what I was gonna say is just like this is why it's so vital to not be trapped in your bubbles and have tunnel vision, because like I said, right, like although I have these critiques of Republicans, that's not to say Democrats are saints and that, you know, they're the solution, because as you mentioned, Kyle, like, yeah, having Biden and Kamala in office, right, it brings a sense of normalcy, but we have to remember, just like at the beginning of the pandemic, we can't go back to the normal because the normal wasn't working in the first place. And so, you know, one of my things is like, you know, for example, right, with like Obama, right? One of my critiques is, yeah, he was a Democrat, but he deported more people than Bush did during his administration. So it's just sort of like, you have to be aware of these things, right? You can't just be biased and just blindly follow like that. So definitely, you know, that's where the like as you and Mike have said, right? That's where it's important to really organize in the community and stuff, because like there's levels to this. You have a macro level and you have a micro level, but you really fall victim to falling blindsided when you're just focusing on a macro level, because when you don't really work with people at the grassroots level, you're missing out on so much. And it's really what enlightens people, you know what I'm saying? It's really an insightful moment for many, right? You realize a lot of things you may have never been able to read in a textbook, because you can't read oppression off a book. You have to know the experience and live through it to really understand how impactful and complex it is. But that's where it's important to, you know, as people of color and just, you know, white people too, that's where we have to have these conversations, because you need to understand where we're coming from and where you're coming from and how we can work together to really, you know, bring about positive social change.
Yeah. And like how you said, like looking at it at a micro level too, I was going to backtrack on what Mike said, how he was, how he learned that to become a better community organizer, he had to really like hone in on himself and how, what's this called, how he needed to be good on his own. I think that's one thing too that a lot of people took into this pandemic, is just realizing where they are in life. And I think it all starts from there too, like realizing where you are, who you are, and finding out what you can and can't do and stuff. Because in the end, how are you going to help other people if you can't even help yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Black Lives Matter. And I think I just wanted to read this quote. And what does it mean to be in solidarity with different communities, with different struggles? And it's a quote from Lila Watson. Quote, "If you have come to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together." So the idea of solidarity is that our fight, we are fighting for the same thing, and we are fighting the same enemy. And so in solidarity with the Black lives, it's a must for me as a Filipino that we organize our own community and the same issues in terms of the issues, because the issues are the same in terms of where it comes from. It's really imperialism and capitalism that are, you know, like really have a huge impact in terms of the lives of the different communities. So to me, like, what does it mean to actually fight the same enemy? And so, that's what it means. Like, because, I've never come to help because I do the organizing. I'm a community organizer because, like, we are fighting the same enemy, and fighting that enemy will liberate my people and also liberate the rest of the world in essence, you know what I mean? So that's really where the root is in terms of, community organizing. And there's different levels to it, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think, in terms of Black Lives Matter, even in the Filipino community, it's, again, I think Jonathan talked about it in terms of the Latinx community, in terms of like the anti-Blackness. We also have anti-Blackness in our Filipino community. And so, and there's something that we need to like work on and organize our community and have those engagement in terms of, like really seeing where that comes from and how to challenge those ideas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing I wanted to add to that, right, is when Kyle got me involved in the NAACP, I remember going up to the president of the adult branch, and Kyle had, introduced me to him and that sort of stuff. And I remember he asked me, so why do you want to join? And I remember saying, I just want to get involved and I want to help the cause, and really stand in solidarity as an ally, even, and it was sort of like, I don't really know too much about my own community, but, I just want to help out the cause. And I just remember he told me straight up, he was like, we're more alike than we are different. Your community struggles are the same struggles we experience. Like, don't ever forget that. And, this was back in like, 2017. And yeah. I mean, now I look back now, and everything that I've studied to this point is just like, I guess in a way, a slap in the face in the sense of like, oof, like now that I know better, now that I know more, like, it's like, yeah, no, we share the same struggles. And, kind of as you nodded, right? The anti-Blackness and Latinx communities. For me, the impactful moment was when I learned about my history, right? And this is something I touched on in an episode before, was just sort of like, there's this anti-Blackness in the Latinx community. And it's just sort of like, homie, pick up a textbook, bruh. Like, you're gonna see this is the dumbest shit you can ever be talking about, because we have Afro ancestry in our blood. And I'm saying, in my case, right, as a Mexican, it's just sort of like, dude, they annihilated a big chunk of the indigenous population. You think the white people were gonna do the work in the mines and sort of stuff? Like, no, like, read your history, bro. Understand it's more complex than what's been taught to you. And, you got to understand, like, this prejudice is just a perpetuation of colonialism and racism, and it's just sort of like, yeah, it's just like, wow. I mean, and it's kind of interesting that, we're talking about this because the past couple of days I've spent researching about the history of Mexico even more, but more specifically dialing in on where my parents are from. Because I'm trying to get back in touch with my indigenous roots. And so I'm trying to dig and research and this sort of stuff. And I've learned a lot of cool facts about, the history and just where my parents are from and what famous events happen around that area. Just a bunch of different events that happened. And so one thing is I wanted to understand and get to know what indigenous language was spoken, because, I as a Mexican speaking Spanish, it's like, oh yeah, that's your language. It's like, no, that is a colonial language. I'm trying to understand what was there before this imposition.
Right.
And so I looked it up, and it was pretty cool to know, because there's a lot of things said in Spanish that is literally just like, I think the proper term in linguistics is like it's adoption of a word. Like, for example, avocado, right? In Spanish is aguacate, but there was no such thing as an aguacate before the Spanish arrived here in the Americas. And I think it was a Nahuatl language, it was aguacat. And there's like a distinct pronunciation at the end. I can't really say it, but it was like aguacat. And you know, the Spanish were like, what the hell is this indigenous shit? Like, we're going to say it in Spanish because this is what's proper formal. And so aguacate. And so I did research on because my parents are from the state of Guanajuato in Mexico. And so I found out that it used to be called differently. And in its indigenous tongue, it stood for mountainous place of frogs. And the reason why it was called that was because it is said that the indigenous people believed that the mountains kind of looked like frogs. And so that's why it was kind of given that name. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wanted to touch. I wanted to touch on that linguistic aspect. It's kind of off, but what's the Tagalog word for family?
Oh yeah, you mentioned this last.
Oh, I have no idea, my fam.
So
Familia.
yeah,
Familia.
no,
Huh?
There's no Filipino word for family.
yes. So it's actually we use angkan, which angkan means clan, which means tribe, like a community. So we never had a word for like the immediate family, but we always, in the same way our culture is, we take in everyone as a family. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like your aunts and sisters and sometimes friends that comes over and becomes like part of the family. So yeah, in terms of like what you're talking about, the linguistic aspect of like the roots, sometimes it's hard because it's been so covered up with so many layers of colonialism in the different aspects. But I just wanted to get back in terms of the 2020 of struggles and victories. One of our victories is this podcast.
Let's go.
PYB podcast.
Wait, I mentioned one last thing, just very brief.
Go ahead.
I can't stop. I can't shut up about it. I want the listeners to know.
Change name to MC Churro podcast.
Oh, okay. Just real quick.
Go ahead.
I didn't know that the Philippines was named after King Philip II of Spain.
Yeah,
I was like,
Crazy. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yup.
So yeah, the PYB. Is,
Oh, that's absurdity.
yeah,
That's absurdity of the day. Oh, there we go.
whoever was scheduled to give it out,
Technically.
I helped you out. You're welcome.
Absurdity of
Yeah,
the day.
that's absurdity of the day.
Say it again, Jonathan. Say it
Well,
again.
what's absurdity of the day?
The Philippines was named after King Philip II of España back in like 1531 or something like that. For 33.
Yup.
Something like that. Yeah.
So it was like what Spanish people who were born in the Philippines were technically Filipino.
Yeah, and the indigenous
Yeah, those are
folks
Filipino.
were called Indio.
Indio. Oh,
Same thing in terms of the Latinx experience, right? Like the indigenous folks are Indio, you know. So
Or unless you were mixed with something else, and then the fucking Spaniards came up with a whole stupid caste system to classify every different mix. I'm like, bro.
So yeah, PYB podcast is our
It's kind of like
victory.
now how you have to check a box, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They classified.
What's
Now you gotta
your
check 'em out.
ethnicity?
Wait, like real quick though, like as Filipinos, what box do y'all check?
Filipino.
There's a Filipino box.
Filipino
now.
box now.
What? There were
Yeah.
no Filipino
'Cause, yeah.
box.
But it used to be Asian. I used to always put
Yeah.
Asian.
Yeah, because Filipinos, what's this called? There's like a controversial thing how like some people would choose Pacific Islander and some
Yeah.
people would choose Asian. So they're just like,
Or even
just
Hispanic, too.
Filipino box.
So now there's a
Hispanic.
Filipino box.
Yeah.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah.
Our own.
Okay.
Filipino has a big identity crisis. If I just throw that in there. I learned that in one of my classes. Like it's kind of hard. Like with the
I feel
Pacific
like
Islander, Hispanic.
just in America, it's
Yeah.
big. In
In
the
America, it's
Philippines,
big.
not really. Like they don't really think of that stuff, you know, like because
Yeah.
over there, what's this called? They don't think they're Pacific Islanders.
Nah.
Yeah, I think in terms of, I think we always we've talked about this thing in terms of assimilation and trying to fit in, and sometimes we don't know. We have to know our own where we came from first before we actually try to fit into something. So we lose a little bit of ourselves, and then the struggle of like different generation of struggle with parents and the different culture that they might have known, and trying to pass it to the new Filipinos that might have been born here and raised here. So there's a struggle in terms of misunderstanding of culturally, right? So there's a lot of struggle of the identity crisis in terms of Filipinos in America. And so yeah.
Okay, so it's coming towards the end of 2021, right? And there's a vaccine coming out, so there might be probably not soon, but it's starting to come again. How are you guys feeling about that with things kind of being lenient, but not really? Because, you know, California technically went into shutdown again. We kind of backtracked. How do you guys feel about all that? That's kind of coming through right now.
For the what's this called, shutdown, I feel bad for the small businesses. They're the ones getting hit the most because I work at, a milk tea place, which is like pretty much a franchise, and we're short on staff. There's only 2 people working per shift, but there's
Wow.
still the same amount of people coming through. And you got places like Lake Tahoe and, touristy places that are shut down because of the new rules in California. And that's their only way of getting, getting their main income. And it's like, people are still going to go places, but it's the small businesses that are getting really, really affected. And it
Yeah.
sucks.
I work at Fitness 19, and we opened up
Yeah,
in
the
September.
gyms. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
well, gyms are hit like, oh, what's up, Jonathan?
I was just gonna say, careful when you lean back and talk in the mic because I heard the same speaker
Oh
screeching
shit.
just because your mic was pointing at it.
Okay, I'm gonna
Just heads
stay.
up.
I'm gonna stay here. Thank you. Okay, I'll go from I work at fitness. So, yeah, I work at Fitness 19, and we like literally see that, and the fitness industry is hurting so hard. But fortunate for our uh, franchise and our owner, we literally had to hustle hella hard just to stay open. Big shout out to the staff there because we were willing to do it. So literally, what we did was we put everything outdoors strictly. We even built a tent. But the thing is about that is we have to work the overnight. We have to constantly check things because the neighborhood's kind of sketchy sometimes, and we've had a few instances with some like really crazy people, because people are just so frustrated and angry. But yeah, it really hit like small businesses really hard, and I really understand it from that point of view because I manage that place too as the fitness manager, and it's just crazy and very difficult and hard just to really make a living right now too.
Yeah, I think in terms of COVID-19, the pandemic, it really hit hard in terms of the Filipino community, in terms of the Filipino nurses,
Oh yeah,
and there's only like a small percentage of Filipino nurses,
4%.
and then there's the rate of the death in terms of the Filipino nurses is high.
A third, right? I
So
think a
it's
third.
it's a huge number. Yeah, I think I need to look it up and put it up. But yeah, there's been a huge impact in terms of in our community, and so I'm like, yo, what do we need to look at, and what is it that we need to figure out and to be able to support that specific sector of our Filipino community in terms of the nurses, because again they are struggling and they have been hit hard by this pandemic. And so, yeah, that's something that definitely would love to figure out how to support the nurses out there. So shout out to the nurses out there,
Shout
frontline
out.
workers. Y'all, appreciate y'all, and it's unnecessary sacrifices because these corporations and these hospitals should provide the safe working environment. And if it's needed, we will mobilize the community to support in the demand in terms of safe working environment. So you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and I think, for me, obviously big shout out to healthcare workers and nurses because they're the frontline workers, you know what I'm saying? And, on another level, I feel bad for them in the sense that they got to take care of some fucking idiots who just decided to throw a party, and now one person ended up being infected and they got like 20 people infected and now they're in the hospital and now these nurses have to take care of them. And it's like, obviously, yeah, they're ill, so provide care, but it's like that reckless act just ruined it for really put these nurses' lives at risk. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like, unfortunately, based off how the society is, right? We got to go to work, we got to make money because we got bills to pay, we got rent to pay, that sort of stuff. And so if you get sick like that, I mean, I can't really hold that against you. You're trying to survive, and unfortunately the society is structured this way. But if you're being some fucking idiot hanging out at a party or something like that with like 30 plus people and shit, just being reckless, it's just sort of like, I'm sorry, like if you get sick, it sucks, but I don't really feel bad for you because you're being reckless. Like, why are you having a big ass party, with people during these times? It's sort of like, I don't know, man.
let's
Like
go.
when you see all these or like when you see all these influencers and shit like that in LA just at these big ass parties, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. In general, in American society has instilled to the people this individualist tendencies, and only thinking of themselves and how they are impacted, but they might not see how they are impacting other people. Hence the anti-maskers. All those folks that are like going out on the streets like about wearing masks. It's like because they're only caring about how they are impacted versus like having other lives, people being lost. It's not significant to them. It's just their inconvenience is more significant than someone losing their lives. And so yeah, I think those are the things that definitely we're learning in this 2020 pandemic. The struggle continues, the social, economical, and political struggle continues. And that's something that again back to the point of like it's a must. Our organizing in our community must continue. You know what I mean?
I think also mental health too. Like those people who are like really forced to like quarantine or really be by themselves. I've seen it hand first with friends and family kind of really getting affected by that. And even myself as well too, with like having to like stay in, it's really hard. I saw this picture the other day where when it was the beginning of the pandemic and there was one of the first COVID patients who was in the ICU who had to be isolated. And in Wuhan, he was feeling really depressed. So what the doctor did was the doctor brought the patient outside to see the sunset to kind of just give him some vitamin D and just feel happy, It's freaking crazy. Mental health is like hit really hard. And I even have a client who's a therapist and she says it's just really difficult for people right now. Very difficult.
So, but again, I think I was saying it earlier in terms of, I think for us, for me, one of the biggest victory is this podcast and us coming together and putting this together and being able to talk about the different things, the different issues, and the different topics that we've talked about, I think, and just being able to work with y'all and get to know y'all better. In essence, that's a victory for 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think this is why I've been more grateful with my life because I'm extremely lucky. We're all extremely lucky to be living the lives we live. It's like it's crazy. Like you just look at your life and you're just like I'm here. Like I'm not sick right now. Like I'm pretty healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like there's so much going on in the world, and it just makes you like look at the little things in your life and say, wow, like I'm extremely lucky. And like I wouldn't want to take anything for granted. Again, that's kind of like why my New Year's resolution kind of like worked out, like having fun, like even though it's not like fun, it's just like it's really like made me realize and hone into like how grateful I am to be living my life. It's not perfect, definitely not, but it really could be worse. And I think that's one of the things that like within like my mental health, like getting like not falling stray into like, spiraling into like depression and stuff is just like just realizing how extremely lucky I am to be like to have my family and stuff. Just live the life that I do live,
Yeah.
Ooh. What is our do we want to share our New Year's resolution for this year?
Okay.
It's December 27. It's New Year's coming up.
Ending question of the podcast.
What would be your...
We're ending it?
No, we're not ending it.
Oh,
What would be our New Year's resolution?
That's it? All right, fuck.
What would be our New Year's resolution?
we're ending the podcast. Final. Just kidding. New Year's resolution.
New
Shit.
Year's resolution.
I haven't even thought about that.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of glad we moved on to the subject because I was kind of joking with
crying?
my
I was
friends
like,
earlier.
Oh.
I was joking with my friends earlier. I was like, because I was on a call with them and I was like, I'll call you guys later. I'm about to cry for my third time on this episode. And now y'all talk about like how grateful we are for the podcast. And I was just over here like, okay, no, we're not going to cry this time again. Okay, we're not going to fucking cry.
Maybe we can go back to that. Let's go back to that. We want to see you cry again.
No, don't make me cry.
So I'll start off. Yeah, I'm grateful for this podcast to give me the opportunity to get to know y'all as an individual and grow together and struggle together with things coming up. But yeah, I just want to say I appreciate y'all, and let's continue to grow and let's continue to take the stride and work to be the best that we can be and grow PYB podcast. So I appreciate y'all.
Oh, I got some. There, you guys just had, yeah. So keep going, PYB podcast, Pretty Young Browns. You feel me? I really hope to really kick this off next year. Have more deeper, intellectual, empowering conversations with these folks. You know what I'm saying? And also just interview really like bigger and more like prevalent and awesome and great individuals from the community. You know what I'm saying? Big artists too. I think that'd be really dope to kind of create that platform and just meet those type of people and get to know them. Another thing is get my fitness right. I think one of my main goals that I've really been working on is boxing. So really get my boxing down. Hopefully down the road, maybe even do an amateur fight. Who knows? Yeah, you guys put it out there. And to stream more as a DJ and just to keep helping others. I think that's it, really. Oh, and also finish college. I'm going back to college next semester. Let's go.
Let's go, Simone. Let's go, Simone.
What I'm grateful for? I thought I already said that. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, I'm extremely grateful for all of this. I think this has allowed me to like kind of open up more. Really,
you were closed up.
Like it was kind of. I mean, I'm very like particular with who I let into like my world. Really, like with what I say and stuff like that. Just because like. I'm not really good at choosing the right people, I guess, or like the type of person I am is just, what's this called? I noticed, oh my gosh, what am I saying? But like, I'm just a closed person in general. And I think this has really like kind of given me like a voice to like talk and stuff and just to say things unapologetically and stand by what I believe in. And it's just nice, you know?
Why, thank you for opening up. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. You know, and it's just like, I feel like it's just like a leap forward to, you know, essentially becoming a better person.
And we hope to have more leaps and bounds.
Facts.
Yes, definitely. That's like a goal for 2021 is just to do it. Just do it. Feel me? Nike.
Right. Period.
But yeah.
Jonathan, let's go.
Churro.
What you got?
What's up, bro?
Let's go. What you got? Break it down.
Man, I swear to God, bro. I don't even know what I'm trying to be careful about what I say because I was joking. I didn't want to fucking cry, but like
all good.
Not again.
We love you for it. We love you for that, man.
We gotta make that little cover photo again for Simone.
No, make his Chibi,
the chibi crying. Let the chibi cry.
Just put a crying emoji.
Oh, hey, MC Churro looking fly on that chibi now. You know what I mean?
You feel me?
All right, break it down, Jonathan.
Oh my God! All right, I'm a very freestyle kind of person.
Okay.
I say what I feel in my chest, my heart. So if I start crying, I'm just gonna fucking let it flow.
Let it go.
But,
Do it.
Oh fuck! I think. Oh my God! Fuck. I can't express how grateful I am to be part of this podcast because first and foremost, like I wasn't even part of the picture to begin with, and for Kyle to, you know, think about me and just believe in me and just like, oh, you know, I think this is a great outlet for Jonathan. Just, you know, having me be included, and then you and Simone, you know, accepting me and letting me come through. Like, I can't thank you enough for that. I think as fuck. I'm fighting back these tears.
We love you. We love you for that.
I think as far as the podcast goes, like I'm very grateful to have an outlet to where I can share my opinion, speak my mind, and just be unapologetic for what I say. Because, you know, I guess on the outer layer, right? Like I share my opinions and I share what I think, right? But at the end of the day, for me, it's about, hoping to reach somebody who, connects with this and, doesn't feel alone and, hopefully can get inspired to pursue whatever avenue of, life they want to go through. And so, I think, with that, I'm just very grateful for that, as far as the podcast goes. Oh my God, fuck. I don't know how you did this, Simone, bro. Like, I don't know how you fight back tears, bro. But I think one thing I want to emphasize the most is just I'm very grateful for all of you. Y'all are so supportive, and I don't know if I mentioned this to Kyle, but going through school this quarter and then just like, fuck, I got this assignment to do. Fuck this assignment. And every week I was always looking forward to shooting the podcast and always looking forward to connect with y'all and speak our minds and hear y'all's perspective and all this sort of stuff. And so now that I reflect back, I'm just like, wow, I'm really grateful for the podcast because it's like the one thing I was looking forward to every single week. Like, oh, we're going to shoot another podcast episode. I'm so excited to be able to converse with people and just, be glad to see Simone, Mike, Kyle, and, because I've really been sheltering at home like a recluse, what I'm saying? Like, I'll go out for like takeout food or, I got to go buy groceries or whatever. But for the most part, I've just been staying at home. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges going into this pandemic because I'm somewhat extroverted, but also but more like, kind of like how Simone said it, right? I'm a little bit more closed in. And so before the pandemic, I would always try to find somebody to hang out with because I was just like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be with my thoughts. Like, I just want to be distracted. I want to hang out with somebody. Bam. And, being of age now, right? Like, let's go hang out. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a couple drinks. Let's forget our lives. And so like, I'm not gonna say I was drinking a lot, but I was drinking a lot. But I would hang out with people and just like, you want to drink? Dude, let's go. And then at some point, just like, I don't know, man. I was like, dude, it's on me, bro. I'll buy, let's go. And just like drink and just, never wanting to be home and this sort of stuff. And so like when the pandemic started, it was just like, wow, like I really got to face my own demons now. Like there's no, like, I'm at home. I'm stuck inside my room. There's nowhere to go. There's no alcohol. Fuck. And so, it really made me reflect a lot. And as I mentioned earlier, right, it was a blessing in the wound because it made me face a lot of the harsh realities of what was going on in my life and the trajectory I was on. And so really made me switch things up. And, as I mentioned, right, like I'm pretty much sheltering at home. And so like every week I get to shoot a podcast episode with y'all. It's just like, like more than friends, what I'm saying at this point, right? Like y'all are just like hella close homies and I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And like,
love you too, bro.
I can't express how thankful I am. So it's just like,
yeah, it's kind of like for me, like I don't talk to anyone throughout the week. And then it's kind of like, okay, Simone, like you kind of need to talk to people now. And she's like, okay, there's my podcast. You know what I'm saying? At least it's like with people that like I enjoy conversating with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah. Wow.
Wow. Good one, Mike. God damn. You really set that one up.
Hey, what was your goal for resolution for 2020, Jonathan?
Oh, yeah.
What was my goal for 2020?
Or 2021 resolution. New Year's resolution.
2021 resolution.
I think graduating because, COVID came through and that really halted things. And, I think, as I mentioned before, right? Like, I think just graduating and living life to its fullest because, now
now it's like, yeah, like, you know.
I mean, it's, aside from pandemic, right? It's just like, I really don't know my timetable anymore. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't want to live with regrets. So it's just like, as soon as we're able to get out of this pandemic, just like live life. I want to travel, I got my passport recently. So it's like, I want to travel and just explore the world.
Okay, what's the first location? Go ahead, Simone.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm going to the Philippines in December next year. So I'm excited.
Ooh, to Jonathan, what's the first location on your mind? Traveling.
Oh, shit. I don't even know. Whatever my wallet can afford at first.
Oklahoma? You going to Oklahoma?
Really find,
just kidding.
That looks like Fremont.
You can really find cheap flights.
Right now.
You can find so many cheap flights.
Right now. He's not going to go right now.
Not even right now. Just in general. You could find really cheap flights.
Hey, Kyle.
Just don't get from
on Spirit? Oh, no.
Huh?
Oh, heck no, not in Spirit. But like international flights and stuff.
Hey, yo,
you
Kyle.
have like bundles and stuff.
What's good?
I ain't trying to go nowhere right now. Wait, did everyone share their resolution?
Did you share?
Yeah, I have one. Wait, did everyone?
Oh, wait, Jonathan, were you going to say something? You were calling my name.
Oh, yeah, I was just kidding. What the hell's in Oklahoma?
Nothing, because I'm never going back there.
You've been to Oklahoma?
Oh, hell yeah, I have.
Hey, there's good folks
How
out
is
there.
it?
It ain't California, that's for sure.
It ain't California, and
But
there's a lot
California.
of Confederate flags there. So never
California on
going back
my license plate.
hey,
there. Last year, they ain't even like the Bay. Hey.
I'll wait to get out of here.
You're gonna say something, Simone?
California.
what was your New Year's resolution, Simone? Additional?
I already said it.
Oh,
I
you were
was just
gonna
saying
say
how
something.
like I can't. Oh, I was just. Oh yeah, my last question was is everyone done like saying what they needed to say?
No, we can make the last question. We're at 45.
Okay. We're only at 45.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Plus whatever there is. There's like 45 plus like 20. So this is like almost an hour and a half.
Let's go. Keep it going.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But what's like the biggest lesson you guys learned in 2020?
The biggest
It could
lesson.
be in terms of everything, like in terms of like more internally, like within yourself and like with relations to others or relations to the world, like biggest. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to explain it, but
I could go off that real quick. The biggest lesson, I think, which somewhat I knew, but it really transpired in terms of practice, is that I struggled with a lot of things internally, and it's a must that I challenge myself to grow internally. And so, like, really, that's one of the biggest challenge in terms of like feeling some type of way, acting out, or something happens, I feel a certain way, and I have that attitude like, oh, I don't give a fuck anymore type of shit. So yeah, 2020, the biggest lesson is just like, yo, there's no matter what folks or outside of you or externally, whatever happens externally, like you need to learn how to like have agency and control in terms of what you do. And I think we could go back to that the Jedi thing in terms of Anakin action. So like really going back to myself, like I have an agency and control of myself, and I can't make any excuse to do something that is destructive to anyone or to myself. And external reasons is not enough and should not cause me to do all those things. And I think the biggest lesson for me is that it's the things that I need to work on. A lot of it is really internally. And so that's the hope. That's the thing that I hope to challenge myself. In terms of New Year's resolution, 2021 is continue to grow and challenge myself to grow to be the best human being that I can be. So and one of my resolution is that I hope to open up UGAT YouTube account.
Hey,
so I'm gonna
you all heard it there.
Yeah. I'm gonna work on again. I have the brand UGAT, and I hope to start off expand and have a YouTube video to be able to talk about the things that I do. So
let's go.
Those are the things that I lesson learned and my resolution.
I don't like sand.
What the?
Go.
Let's go next.
I guess my biggest lesson as an individual is I've learned that I've become a rock, as my mentor would put it, for people, meaning that people see me as that person. So like think of a rock like this, like
Like a
you know,
hard,
yeah,
rough,
yeah, rough. Like imagine like
rough,
the way my mentor put it,
circular.
yeah, was I'm like those rocks like at the beach, like literally right by the sea. So they're like these waves that keep fucking hitting me and hitting me and hitting me, but I still persevere and stay still. Right? So I've learned to basically that I am that person and I am that person for a lot of other people. A lot of people depend on me for that. And if I break in a way, they might break too. So I've learned to really focus in on myself and help repair myself and keep myself healthy mentally, physically, and spiritually as well too. And to, be upfront as a leader and to just voice my things if something is not right or if it's a lesson that I need to teach that person in a sense to be unapologetic and to just not hold things in because I tend to do that sometimes, right? And to stand up for myself if something isn't right. And I know it's not right because I feel like me as a person, I have a very strong sense of intuition, and I always go with my gut, and I always I always go with my heart, right? So to if something isn't wrong, stand up for it and believe in it and keep pushing forward from there. So I say that was my biggest lesson for 2020, and that's why I can't wait to take that into 2021 and really just fucking push everything out of the way and just keep pushing forward.
Jonathan?
I think I learned two things, and I think to echo, my favorite song of all time, you better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. And the ending line of Lose Yourself too. You can do anything you set your mind to, and so I think with that, the biggest lesson I learned is just don't doubt yourself, just believe in yourself, and you can do anything you set your mind to, and I've realized that a lot of the problems I had was just based in doubt, and so because this pandemic forced me to introspect even more, I learned that my doubt really seeps into many aspects of my life. And, in believing in myself, I started to realize a positive change. And I started to see that I was, beginning to excel in things that I didn't think, I was good at, or that, I should even try, and I think that was one of the biggest things going into this podcast, because Kyle was just like, come on, man, like you're very outspoken, you're unapologetic, you speak a lot of truth, like you need to try this. And, right off the bat, my mind, first thing, bro, nobody wants to hear your ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, shut up, bro. Like, and so it's just sort of like, in Kyle believing in me, and then being able to connect with both of you and y'all just, being very supportive. I was like, damn, for so long I've doubted myself, and there's just this inner demon just telling me to shut up and just stay quiet. And it's just sort of like, no, like I gotta be me, man. And so, yeah, it's one of the biggest lessons I learned, and something that's really going to propel me forward, moving on in life.
Dope.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's like one of the lessons I've learned too, is just like, because I personally like to believe that I can do everything, anything I want to, just because, that'll like push me to do it, to actually do whatever I put my mind to. And it's just like myself getting in the way of that, my self-doubt and stuff. So that's definitely a lesson I did learn. And also another lesson I learned is kind of like my relations with other people, and like how Kyle said, like he does, like going into 2020, he's gonna like, lead with his heart and stuff like that. For me, it's kind of like the opposite, kind of. Not that like, I'm not gonna lead with my heart and stuff. It's just like through experiences that I've experienced this year, it's like, all right, Simone, like you need to be smarter, like you can't always lead with your heart, because ultimately sometimes that can backfire. Because like I've always been the type of person who like wants to take care of like everyone who's with me and stuff. Like when I was in Sacramento, I used to like invite like my friends over to cook for them and like give them food, when it's like, Simone, like you barely have money like for food for yourself. Like, come on now, like you can't be doing that. And I think just like based off of like who I surround myself with and the people that I let in and care about, because two of the closest people are like people that I considered like close to me, not only because we're blood, but because I care about them, like ultimately like are the ones that I got burned on the most, and it's just like sometimes like I can't always just lead with my heart and care so much about that stuff because it's not doing anything for me. So I think like that's like one of the biggest lessons I learned. It's like I gotta just focus on myself for the most part. If like something sounds fishy or something's not going right, and I can't always just lead with my heart, because sometimes that doesn't work out. But yeah, I think that's like one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Like I was even like talking to Kyle about it yesterday, and just kind of just like solidified my like how I would move forward in my relations with people and not having to rely on other people and just moving forward. So yeah.
So question to Simone. When are you gonna cook for us?
For the mukbang.
I can cook you microwavable.
And then after that, we're gonna cancel the podcast and leave you forever. Just kidding.
Just kidding. I was gonna say it was just sort of like, oh, actually, never mind. We're not gonna reference that song because we don't fuck with that person anymore.
Hey,
I was gonna say, my mind is telling me no,
But my body,
but I was just
my
like,
body.
oh, there's the karaoke that Mike been wanting. Y'all did finally do some karaoke. All right, y'all. That's our time.
I feel like we do karaoke every single podcast, though.
I do.
Yeah, someone's always like singing or rapping.
It's usually, oh yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
If you guys watch the podcast,
That's true.
So when are we doing
that
our?
is not true.
When are we doing our mukbang?
Okay.
When are we doing our mukbang?
I don't know, bro. We got all year next year.
We'll figure it out.
Whoa,
Figure it out.
half of next year. We gotta get those inoculations, bro.
Yes.
Or we can just drop off food to each other.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that. We'll have a mukbang, and if y'all want to make a comment, what food should we eat? Blah blah blah. Drop a dime. Let's go.
Thank y'all for tuning
I'll make
in.
some mean grilled cheese sandwiches. Let's go, bro.
Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in. This is PYB Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Let's go.
Para español, por favor, síguenos en pypodcast.com. Por favor, síguenos en
everyone.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Thanks for tuning in to Telemundo.
Oh.